Get everybody's attention. It's 6:45, so we're going to start the citizen forum. Everybody needs to look at the bulletin board and read the rules of conduct. Eubanks and Officer Wilson will be the sergeant of arms, and the rules of conduct will be in effect tonight. We're going to start the citizens forum. First on the sign-up sheet is Larry Boggs. Come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Larry Boggs, Klein Avenue in Nashville. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. My name is Larry Boggs, and I am the General Manager of TPM in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're a large environmental company. When I briefed the committee a few weeks ago, I didn't feel like I said everything that should have been said. TPM has been doing emergency management since 1991 and has conducted emergency response from Lake Michigan to the shores of the Gulf Coast. Our Nashville office is only about 20 minutes from here, and we have a sister company much larger than us, just about an hour away. TPM services included, but not limited to, emergency response, industrial services, civil site support, which consists of sanitary, stormwater, sewer pipe cleaning, video inspections, and hydro excavations. We have about 107 pieces of equipment, which includes 2 liquid vacuum trucks, 1 5,000-gallon tanker, 2 3,000 dry vacuum trucks, 2 combination trucks of over 2,500 gallons each, and the new state-of-the-art hydro excavation truck. We have numerous other things from skid steers to bobcats to mini-X to boats. TPM currently holds contracts with the Nashville Electric Service and Metro City Environmental and Hazardous Material Abatement, Remediation, and the Cleanup Service for them. TPM conducted remediation and abatement of many of the 2010 flooded homes for Metro Water Services. TPM has worked at the Nashville Airport and has currently just completed a fuel storage and dispensing system, and we just completed removing 4 25-year-old underground storage tank. We've also worked with them in the stormwater maintenance contract along with other various projects over the years. TPM has numerous response trucks. One is here in Laverne and one is in Smyrna, along at Antioch and up in Nashville. So if there's a call after hours, we could respond quickly. We also have on-site technical staff of geologists, hydrologists, and landscape architects, and they all have background in stormwater training. These staff members have had a long working relationship with the Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation, which includes proper waste permitting, management, disposal, and regulatory issues for both hazardous and non-hazardous materials. TPM also has a great sized network of partners, subcontractors, which TPM works on with a regular basis. The ability includes fire and other water damage cleanup, restoration, mold remediation, asbestos, lead-based paint abatement, and construction. These partners subcontract act as a force multiplier to enhance response time, manpower, and the TPM capabilities. At this time, I have some pamphlets on more about the TPM capability. Thank you for listening to me.
Next, it'll be Carissa Benton. Please come up to the podium and state your name and your address for the record.
Hi, my name is Carissa Benton. I live at 1803 Rory Cove, and I'm holding hands with the 2 most important people in my life right now. They are my why for why I'm here right now. Mayor, Alderman, and everyone else here tonight. I know you've got your why for all the things that you do, and I'm sure that you would love to be surrounded by them right now, but these 2 are giving me some strength. I am so proud of where our city's come. You guys really deserve a pat on the back for all of the things that are going well in our town. We've got a greenway that's about to open, and it is amazing, and it is beautiful. And it needs your help with more staffing for Parks and Rec. So I want you to keep that in the back burner in your minds to think, how can we tweak the budget to get some help on that greenway so that we can keep it beautiful for the citizens? We've got Old Timers Day coming up. Got a pat on the back for that too. I've seen the pictures of the park already, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen this weekend. We're moving into the future. I'm so proud of where Laverne has come. I've been here almost 20 years now. When I first drove through Laverne in 1994 when I came to college, it was like a little blip on the map. I asked my friend, where are we going? She was trying to get us to an ATM that was off the interstate at Waldron. And I was like, oh, where are we? I had no clue. I never knew that a few years later I was going to live here and I would call it home. And it feels more like home now than my actual hometown. I went home this weekend for the holiday, and I see how far Laverne has come, because my hometown, they've gone backwards. And there's a lot of things there that they've got to fix that you guys can be proud of that you're taking care of in our town. Tonight, I need your help, and I don't know how to do it. So I'm going to count on you guys to guide me and tell me where to move. But we've got a building code that needs to be changed, and it deals with accessory and outbuildings and backyards. People assume when they buy a home that you can put anything in your backyard that you want, as long as it's not too big. Everybody knows that you had to meet a building code as far as size. But you never think how far to put it away from your fence. So when I saw you guys on Thursday night, I pulled out my tape measure and I measured chairs. And this front row right here where these people are sitting, that's not even 10 feet. And so your outbuilding has to be 10 feet from all your property lines. In our little bitty yards in Lake Forest, that means your outbuilding's going to be right behind your house. Codes are designed for safety. And with an outbuilding that close to a home, that's a fire hazard, since many people keep lawnmowers and flammable materials in an outbuilding. We don't need, with how close our homes are in Lake Forest, for one of those buildings to spark and it take down a whole row. Our firefighters here are amazing, and they do such a good job, and they deserve a pat on the back. Our police force and our firefighters, they're amazing. But if a whole row of homes goes, we've got a problem. So help me keep my family safe by looking at the outdated code. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Moving on down to the next person on the sheet, it'd be Deborah Hugan. Please come up and state your name and address.
I need the sergeant's assistant. Since you've already got a copy, I'd like him to give the extra copy to Kyle Brown, if you don't mind. Thank you. First off, I'd like to say I've been here since 2000, and I'm proud of everything and all the accomplishments our cities have made to make us a modern and forward-thinking citizen. I don't think we need to go backwards and start removing setback lines that were put in place in 1990 to protect us and keep us safe. Just want to remind everybody what a subdivision looks like without setback lines. I don't know how close you can get to this, if you can see it. It looks like shantytown. Without setback lines, people can put anything they want in their yard anywhere they want. And it's a hazard, and it's an eyesore, and it's dangerous, not only for the citizens, but for the police officers and for our firemen. So we have certain people in our city that are wanting to get rid of the setback lines for certain people. The majority of us do not want the setback lines gone, and we see the value in them when they put them in place a few decades ago, when we started progressing away from living on farms. We're in a subdivision, and we have neighbors that we have to respect. The safety, the aesthetics, and their ability to get a home loan. FHA actually has HUD actually has a code, 4000.1, that addresses how violations of these setback lines by a homeowner or those affected by neighbors that violate those setback lines can affect the marketability of a house. So why should I and other homeowners that follow the rules and laws be harmed and lose money because of the people that don't want to follow these setback lines that the builders and the homeowners are supposed to follow? Every modern subdivision in America has, for the most part, had these setback lines for the past few decades. The rural and country and farmlands, you may not have setback lines, but in developed areas like ours, they're needed to make it a normal, nice neighborhood and keep us from looking like a shanty town. Setback lines are meant to protect us from what you see in the picture that I gave you. They protect your home values. They keep my son safe. Right now, the building, 32 feet of buildings are sitting on my neighbor's property line next to my son's room, and they could go up in flames. Our chief told me they have several storage building fires in our subdivision all the time, and I hate to think my son could lose his life because we've got neighbors that don't want to follow the rules. And just to remind you, it's not anything personal. My largest investment is my home. I love my home, I love my neighbors, but I don't want to put my life and my financial future in jeopardy because somebody wants to get a pass on following the setback lines. The Board of Zoning Appeals has rules and guidelines. They can give you an exception or a variance on a setback if you don't have a yard that's big enough. My neighbors have plenty of room. I've got a 24-foot pool, 3 decks, and still have room for setbacks for buildings if I wanted to. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. And that's the last one on the citizens forum. At 7 o'clock, we're going to start the regular meeting. The only change we're going to have is the presentations. We're going to move them up till right after the prayer. So we've got some people that needs to get out here early, and we're going to accommodate them. So the number 3, the presentations for we're going to move them up. So I call the citizen forum over, and we're going to start the meeting at exactly 7 o'clock. Being at 7 o'clock, welcome. We're going to start the Board of Mayor and Aldermen September 5th, 2017 regular meeting. I call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. The prayer is with Vice Mayor Green. She's not here yet, so I'm going to do the prayer. And the Pledge of Allegiance is with Alderman Cole. Please stand for the prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we are here with bowed heads and humble hearts. Thank you for allowing us to have the freedom to assemble here tonight, free of chores, and praise what is great. Our prayers, thoughts, and heavy hearts goes out to the people that were affected by Hurricane Harvey. Pray for all the brave, fine men and women that is helping with the disaster and people suffering major damage. Also pray for the fine men and women that's keeping this nation safe and strong on a day-to-day basis at home and across the world. May God bless us all. In Jesus' name, amen. Face the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going before we get into old business, we're going to do the presentations. Shirley Winfrey, will you please come up here? Shirley, this is a presentation for Miss Shirley Winfrey. The City of Laverne, here's your certification. Open it up. This is a Lifetime Achievement Award for Shirley Winfrey, this 5th day of September 2017. This is a great recommendation of appreciation to present this award to you for the years of loyal and dedicated service to the City of Laverne. Your personal example of leadership in the community is first female alderman of Laverne, served in inspiration to all, and not being just the first female mayor of Laverne, you was also the first female mayor of Rutherford County. Yes. I'll be happy to present this to you. And we also have a plaque. This is yours, but we also going to have one that's going to hang at City Hall. says, Rutherford County first woman mayor. It goes on. I'm not going to read it all because it lists the alderman that you was served with, and done a great job, and we appreciate it, and thank you very much. Second presentation is we got two new aldermen that has took a classes. I would like to present this certificate to Alderman Jones. Alderman Cole, y'all get up. They completed elected official academy, the University of Tennessee Municipal Technical Service. This is something we asked our new elected officials. We congratulate y'all. I got certificates for both of y'all. And this one is for Alderman Jones. I'll let you hold it. And this one is, I bet it's for Alderman Cole. Yep. And appreciate all of y'all helping me with one bit of advice. The electric academy thing was started a few years back, and Jerry Gann, the vice mayor, he was the first elected official in the whole state of Tennessee to go through step 1, step 2, and step 3. He was the first one in the whole Tennessee, and we're glad that Alderman Cole and Alderman Jones has followed in the footsteps, and I appreciate it. Thank y'all very much. We got all the presentations. So I don't get no feedback. So now we're down to old business. Yeah, the old business, we got right here, old business. Approve the minutes for August 3rd, 2017, regular meeting. Need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to accept as submitted.
Need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes passes 5-0. Now we're down to department reports. First is fire. Ricky.
Mayor, Alderman, for the month of August 2017, we had a total of 273 calls. Those consisted of 2 structure fires, 24 fire alarms, 3 vehicle fires, 2 grass fires, 3 hazardous materials calls, 28 motor vehicle accidents, 178 medical calls, 4 canceled en route, 29 miscellaneous calls, 650 hydrant refurbishments, and 23 fire inspections. The average response time for the month of August 2017 was 3.1 minutes, and total water consumption for the month was 11,500 gallons. Alderman Cole, you had asked a little bit earlier about the Assistant Chief Clark. They are on their way back. Tennessee Task Force has been released as of this afternoon. They look for them to be redeployed, though, to go back to Florida. So I told them to get home, get their hugs and their kisses out, and gas their equipment up and be ready to go again. So it looks like we'll have him back for a short while tonight, and then they'll just play it by ear of what they need to do with Florida on this second part. Does anybody got any questions?
Any questions for Ricky? What's the update on the fire truck?
The new one, the reserve, or the one that just got hit?
The one that's got hit.
I actually talked to the shop today about one of our medical units, our vehicle rescue units, for the ones that don't know, was responding to an accident the other day, a medical call, and as it was making a turn, running emergency traffic, a car hit it right in the passenger driver's door. I got word today that International is calling it a total because it does have a bent frame and a bent B-post. But it is up to the adjuster here for the city and all to make that final judgment. The good thing is that the body on it didn't sustain any damage, so it looks like if we have to do anything, it'll be a total on the chassis. And then we just have to replace the chassis on the truck. So as far as everybody, it was a minor injury with the one car that hit it. The firefighters were fine. I think one thing that saved them was the fact that this truck's four-wheel drive, so it sits a little higher off the ground. So, but I think that's also what contributed to the car hitting it low. It being a tall truck, it did hit it in the frame. So,
And one of the fire person on the truck, they jumped right out of the truck.
They did,
and started aiding
they did.
the gentleman that
they
was
were
involved in the
probably
wreck.
administering medical attention to the person that actually hit them, probably in less than a minute. So it's kind of it's a bad situation when something like that happens, but at least the injuries were minimal. We can replace equipment and things like that. We don't like to have to do that, but at any rate, everybody seems to be fine.
That's probably gonna boost your response time up next month, ain't it?
Probably.
Thank you, Ricky.
Any other? Okay.
Next to be Police Department, Chief Walker.
Before he goes and sits down, you all know that we have a lot of fun just antagonizing each other every opportunity we get. But the 23rd of this month, on Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m., Laverne Fire Department, Laverne Police Department are joining together right out front of City Hall from 1 to 4 p.m. And we're going to conduct child passenger restraint safety checks for proper usage, whether it's a device that needs to be used or needs to be replaced, whatever. Now, normally, if you're transporting a child passenger and they're not properly restrained, we issue citations. That's not what this is for. We're not going to be writing tickets. We're going to be here helping people understand and teaching them how to properly use their devices so that our children are safe. And I just wanted Ricky to come and be here with me because our folks are going to be working together that afternoon very hard to try to make sure anybody that comes learns how to properly use that child passenger restraint device, because it's very important to us for the safety of our children from a lot of aspects, and that's just one of the ones that we're doing together.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You have a paper packet tonight because I wrestled with electronic devices all day long trying to get things to work like they were supposed to, and they didn't do what they needed to do. So you have a paper packet, and the first item, the table there, are the calls for service by type of call. I actually laid those out for you and compared them to the same period last year through the month of August. And you can see that our total calls for service have increased 16.7%. Now, the next one is a chart that gives you an idea of the time of day on the 24-hour clock, the number of total calls for service we had. Now, understand that the numbers on the calls for service is what comes in and is recorded in CAD. It doesn't necessarily mean there was that type of crime. But we can't get the crime data for a few more days, and if you look at the next one, it's the crime summary that we get off of our Tennessee Crime Online, which is the TIBERS, the TBI Group A crime information through the month of July, because August has not been updated yet. But the telling tale is the fourth sheet, and for any members who are here from our citizens or anyone else that's here, there's a copy of each of one of these on the table over there, and there should be enough for everybody in this room. But if you look at it, this is through July, taking those Group A crimes. Total Crimes against persons are down 52.3% through the first 7 months of this calendar year. Crimes against persons are down 44.6%, and crimes against society 48%. And the overall number of crimes, Group A crimes, are down 47.83%. Even though calls for service are up, Group A crimes are down this year, through the month of July anyway. There are a lot of calls that we answer with fire. One of the ones that you can see on your sheet are the 1047 calls, or EMS, and you'll see those have increased 2.8%. That's 1,089 of them through August 31st of this year. One of those calls occurred a week ago this past Friday night. There's a young man by the name of Jordan Rice, 17 years old, who is a Laverne High School student. Lived on Lyndhurst, and that night our dispatchers took a call from his parents that he had passed out and was in the floor. And as they were toning out fire to respond as the medical first responders, they had put it out on the PD frequency, and we had folks that were headed that way. And I was listening. Jordan had come home from a Laverne High School ball game. He suffered from asthma and had come home and was having trouble breathing. He went upstairs to get his inhaler, came back downstairs and dropped in the floor. While our folks were on the way, as fire was getting en route and headed that way, dispatch came back and said CPR was in progress. Now, Jordan was an awful good young man, just a really good kid. He was involved in ROTC, was very active. And every time I ever saw him, he had a smile on his face, constantly, and would shake hands, and it was yes, sir, no, sir, etc. Sergeant Stats called me that night, and they had worked very hard there at the scene trying to get an airway in. First responders did, and EMS was able to get there a little bit after our folks did. Our fire and police got there, and they worked for several minutes trying to get him intubated so they get some 100% oxygen in him. Unfortunately, it was too late. He was taken to Stonecrest and then flown to Centennial. And Jordan's parents learned last week that he didn't have any opportunity of life. He was on the vent. And this weekend, Jordan passed. He went home. But Jordan also contributed, his family contributed the usable organs to others to help save lives. This family is going to be taking him back to Virginia for burial, but they'll have a memorial service in a few days at Woodfin here in Smyrna. But they need some help. There's a GoFundMe page out there to help that family with burial expenses and the trip and travel back to Virginia, etc. So anyone in the community who is interested, if you need more information, you can call us. You can see Sergeant Stats and any others that we have. We'll be glad to point you in the right way, or look for the GoFundMe account for the Jordan Rice family. But please, keep that family in your thoughts and your prayers as we go through the next days of them dealing with this, not only for his family, but his classmates, those in ROTC that he was so close to, because he was a really good kid. I guess I guess Eric asked the question to me that reminds us all, why is it the good ones? And those are questions we all have. Any questions?
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chief.
sir.
We're down to Codes Department, Randolph.
Good evening, Mayor, Alderman. The monthly report for August 2017. There were 14 single-family dwelling permits issued for the month. There were 6 commercial building permits. Miscellaneous permits, there were 6. We had 1 grading permit, fine print at the bottom of the page. Other, to include additions and remodels, there were 6. There were 3 mobile homes. 5 commercial plan reviews for a total number of permits for the month were 39 at a valuation of $11,676,000. The plumbing permits, there were 15 single family, 1 commercial. Mechanical permits, there were 14, 2 commercial. Complaints for the month, there were 252 calls for tall grass, 62 calls for junk cars in the yard, and 79 miscellaneous. Building inspections on the month, there were 372. Our impact fees year-to-date, the road impacts fee year-to-date total is $416,000. For the Parks Department, it's $50,693. For the Police Department, impact fees year-to-date totals are $43,300. Monthly revenue with impact fees year-to-date total is $842,696.23. Total number of single-family permits issued year-to-date have been 164. During the same time period of 2016, it was 93. Total number of permits year-to-date are 409. Any questions?
Thank you, Randolph. We're moving on down to Park and Rec, A.C. Davis.
Mayor, Alderman, there are numbers for the last month. As y'all can imagine, we are extremely busy right now this time of year. Our Play for Tay tournament did get canceled because of the sheer volume of rain we had in Middle Tennessee, so it probably saved us some issues because the carnival came into town Saturday afternoon, and if y'all have been by the park, you see how big the carnival actually is. It is taking up the entire parking lot. And they're just about done setting up, and they said they will be ready to go tomorrow afternoon at 5. Randolph, anytime you can get up there, they said anytime after 2 o'clock, all their stuff's in order and ready to be looked at. We've got a Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting on the 18th at 6, and then a Senior Advisory on the 21st at 4 p.m. Mayor, I think also we're going to have a historical preservation, and I sent an email today, Alderman Cole, about the Greenway getting moved to 5:30, so we'll try to squeeze all those in at the same time. A lot of things going on as far as from the maintenance side of it. David and the guys have been working on the Civic Auditorium to get it remodeled and replace some water heaters over at the police department and rebuilt backflows. Carnival starts tomorrow night and will run through Saturday night. And September 9th is Old Timers Festival. So y'all come on out. We got, at last count, over 70 craft vendors and food vendors alike, and we got a real good entertainment lineup. So it's going to be a big time. So y'all have any questions?
I checked the weather, and the weather's supposed to be real nice. I told you, AC, if we get some dry weather, we'll knock it out of the park.
Oh, I'm telling you what, this is a good one. So y'all come on out.
AC, I've had a couple people ask me if the carnival is just cash only or if they take cards. Do you know that?
I know they're going to have an ATM. I'll find out about that, but I know that they're going to do wristbands for $20, and then tickets are $1 a piece, and most rides, he said, are between $2 and $4. So, but they're pretty. I don't want to speak for them, but I would say they probably take credit as well. But I'll double check and find out for you. We'll post that right away.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, AC. We're down to Finance, Phyllis.
Good evening, Mayor and Alderman. Tonight's financial reports for the month of July, our first month of the year. For the general fund, revenues, expenses exceeded revenues by approximately $997,000. This is our slow time of the year where we don't really receive a lot of revenues in until property tax later on in the year. So you'll see some negative numbers for first couple of months of the year. Local sales tax, we collected $632,000 for the month of July. That's $90,000 better than what we budgeted and $110,000 better than prior year. State street aid expenses exceeded revenues by approximately $44,000. Stormwater revenues exceeded expenditures approximately $32,000. Water and sewer fund revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $138,000. Second page represents our balances in our various bank accounts. And the third page is a comparison to prior year. For the general fund, revenues are up $54,000 and expenses are up $511,000. For the water sewer fund, revenues are up approximately $19,000 and expenses are up approximately $253,000. Tap fees are also up approximately $5,000. Any questions?
Thank you, Phyllis. We're moving on down to library. Donna?
Mayor, Alderman, good evening. For the month of August, the attendance in the library was 9,848 with an average per day of 365. We issued 177 new library cards. We answered 2,685 reference questions, and we circulated 6,436 items. We had 2,926 computer users. Our programs, we did resume back our story times the end of the month, and then we had various programs throughout the month of August. We had 26 total programs in August with a total attendance of 1,954. Now, the reason we had 1,954 was on August 21st, we did hold a solar eclipse viewing party. We guesstimated about 1,500 people came to watch. When I did the door count that night, it was 1,865. So we did a pretty good guesstimation on that. The big thing in August was the solar eclipse. We did several activities, promoting the eclipse. We did Teen Moon Phases t-shirts, and that was very, very successful. We had 42 teenagers in our library, so we were very excited about that. We made a solar eclipse viewing box out of cereal boxes, and that was a multi-generational program. We had attendees there from age 2 to 88. And then, of course, on August 21st was our great day with over 1,500 people gathering all together and watching the solar eclipse. There's some pictures there. I love the picture of the family waving. That's 4 generations all there making a solar eclipse box. So pretty cool. And then we have our own IT guy, Glenn, who used his telescope as a viewing camera, and you can see the solar eclipse there on the paper. So really fun day there. Again, all regular story times have resumed. And just a FYI, our library will be closed this Saturday because we will be up at Old Timers Day. We will be in the pink tents. Look for the pink tents with the flamingos on the side. And also we'll have a float in the Old Timers Day Parade, and look for the float that's growing a tree. Any questions?
Thank you, Donna. We're down to water treatment plant. Wayne Lowry.
Good evening, Mayor and Alderman. Before I go through the gold standard report, I want to talk more about the public notice that went out last week. Alderman Cole asked me to readdress. I did speak last Thursday about it, but we received several phone calls. I'm sure you all have. Some of the concerns is about the date. The public notice was for an event that happened on February 1st, 2016. So my phone calls, I've been talking to the customers, explaining to them how this works. I kind of want to go through this with everyone again. So we receive a sanitary survey by the state once every year to 3 years, depending on their schedule. They were here in May of 2017. And they went back, and what they do is they look at all the computer logs, all our paper logs, anything we have. They look through all the records. And on February 1st, 2016, they saw a blip on a SCADA chart, where it went up and down. And then when they were questioning that, unfortunately, we didn't have the documentation to justify what was happening with that. When we met with them, we presented them with individual filter readings. There are 9 different processes that go into that turbidimeter reading. All 9 of them were good. None of them were above the EPA regulation. They were all less than 0.10 NTU, which is a measure of turbidity. And we presented that to the state, but this little blip, we couldn't explain really what happened. We looked at our alarm log, which is when it says, the computer tells us when it went above the high level and then when it gets back into normal operating level. It was a 3-second event. But due to lack of documentation, we had to issue this public notice over that 3-second event. So I wanted to assure everyone, and hopefully everyone understands what was going on with that turbidity event. Remember, turbidity is the cloudiness of the water particulars in the water, and that there was no treatment technique violation per se, because we have 8 filters plus 1 membrane unit. All of them were good. It was just that 3-second event that caused a spike on a chart that caused us to issue public notice. And I'm still getting phone calls. I will handle every phone call as they come. I get a log of them. I apologize to anyone that I haven't called back yet, but I will be calling them and talking to them about it. So before I move on, is there any further questions on the public notice that anyone may have?
Anybody got, Dwayne, any questions?
So real quick, I'll go through some of the noteworthy events on this. With me standing here as the interim project manager for City of Laverne, we've obviously made a change in leadership. That change was made in the month of August. The existing project manager is no longer with the company. I am serving as the interim project manager until we find someone to take the place. Gaylord says I need to look for a house, so I might be looking for a house down this way. But I will be taking over for the time being. Our regional manager, regional director have been down here a couple times going through this, trying to make sure we have the right people in place. The lake is a normal summer pool, 490 feet. The tanks in the month of July were all good. We're a little bit behind in getting in the month of August information, but for the month of July, we're all good. We're in compliance as far as removal of total organic carbon. There's a regulation that says we have to remove 15%. We are at 46%. There's also a compliance issue known as long-term 2 enhanced surface water treatment rule, long word. Basically, it's testing for parasites in the water. We're in the process of doing that. We're still sampling. That sampling will go through October 2018. We have detected nothing as of yet. We took our sample in August, on August 30th, and we'll wait for the results on that. Flushing team, we had operators on vacation in July, so we didn't have any flushing going on in July. We did some flushing in August. We'll be working at the flushing program and going from there. Backflow prevention, we had 75 backflow inspections in July. I know we've been doing a resurvey that came up on the sanitary survey, and I think in the month of August we had 80 of those. We've ordered the valves for the lagoon lift station, and me and Jamie talked about that last Thursday. We have to talk about when we could get those installed. We've done some replumbing of our bleach. We've done some work on our carbon feeder. And for customer complaints, there were 2 low pressure complaints, but we had no aesthetic complaints, water quality complaints, no taste and odor, no discolored, anything like that in the month of July. And we are on our contract year to date on our maintenance cap. We're through July, we're at $37,442. We have $60,433 remaining. That's not including August. Otherwise, is there any questions?
Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you for coming up. And we're moving on down to Public Works. Garland Russell.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Alderman. This is for the month of August. We had a 52 requests for brush pickup with a total of 798. 60 loads for the month at 171,800. We had 604 hours of the workhouse. We had 116 work orders with 31 hours overtime, one of that being on call. For the fleet department, we had a total of 47. We had 41 in-house, 6 was outsourced. Done 36 oil changes, 27 sets of tires, 8 brake repairs, 19 equipment repairs with 28.5 hours overtime. But that should cut down after this month because we have hired the second mechanic One of them's off on Monday and one's off on Friday, so we have a mechanic here every day. Any questions?
Thank you, Garland. Now we're down to utilities. Michael? Y'all had a busy weekend.
Yes, sir, we did. Mayor Alderman, good afternoon. For the month of August 2017, the Water Department had a total of 163 work orders. We had 2 main line breaks for the month. We repaired 16 service line breaks. Our estimated gallons of water not sold for the month was just over 31,000. Our cleanups from previous repairs were 23 for the month. We swapped out a total of 267 meters with a total of 20 hours overtime. Sewer Department, we had 145 work orders. Our service calls were 86. 59 of those was pump station. Our final grinder pump inspections were 0 for the month. Manhole inspections and repairs were 209. We had 13 rebuilds of grinder pumps for the month with a total of 52 hours overtime. The meter and leak detection department, we had a total of 443 work orders. Our new meter sets were 20. We answered 319 Tennessee 1 calls. There were 0 leaks located for the month, and a lot of that was due to the workload within that department and being short-staffed. We were not allowed to do as much leak detection this month as the previous month. And we had a total of 22 hours overtime. Any questions?
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, sir.
Good hard work this weekend. We're down to Human Resources. Cheryl Smith.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. Here is the Human Resource Report for the month of August. We had 6 external jobs posted, 136 applicants, 3 actual new hires, 1 internal job posted, 5 applicants for the internal job with 5 promotions, 2 resignations, 2 employee terminations, 4 workers' compensation claims, 0 liability claims, 80 care here appointments, 3 no-show appointments, 350 lives were covered, 4 HRAs conducted, 3 short-term disability claims, 1 long-term disability claim, for a total claim dollar amount of $410,719. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
That's the end of department reports, and we've done 3, the presentations. So we're going to move right on down to old business, number 4. Second reading, ordinance 2017-20, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2016-2017 equitable sharing fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve. Need a second? Got a second? Alderman Cole?
Aye.
Alderman Brown?
Aye.
Alderman Jones? Aye. I say aye. Ordinance 2017-20 passes 4-0. Excuse me, we're down to consent agenda. Need a motion to approve or deny.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion, need a second? Second. Alderman Jones?
Aye.
Alderman Cole?
Aye.
Alderman Brown?
Aye.
I say aye. The consent agenda passes 4-0. We're down to new business. First reading, ordinance 2017-21. This is the ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning tax map for tax map 14, parcel 50, 50.03 and 47.02 by approving a special exemption for allowing manufacturing and scrap operation in a I-3 special use industrial zoning district consisting of approximately 16 acres located between 444 and 480 Dick Buchanan Street. This received a favorable recommendation from the Board of Zone Appeals and also a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission, both on August 29, 2017. And I will be concluding myself from this voting on this item due to conflict of interest. Need a motion to approve or deny.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve. Need a second.
Second.
A second. Alderman Cole.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Brown.
Aye.
It passes 3-0 on first reading, and it will be a public hearing on this item next month. Moving on, number 7, first reading, ordinance 2017-22, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 29, parcel 2, 20.04, consisting of 36.69 acres located at 330 Blair Road, adjacent to Smyrna town limits, from a R1 low-density residential and a I1 light industrial zoning district to a PDR planned density residential zoning district. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on August 29, 2017. Need a motion to approve or deny.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve. Need a second.
Second.
Alderman Brown.
Aye.
Alderman Cole.
Aye.
Alderman Jones. I say no. This passes first reading 3-1. This item will also have a public hearing next month. We're down to number 8, Resolution 2017-19, a resolution to authorize the City of Laverne to participate in a TML risk management pool, James L. Richardson Driving Safety Management Grant Program. Need a motion to approve or deny.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve. Need a second.
Second.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Cole.
Aye.
Alderman Brown.
Aye.
I say aye. Resolution 2017.19 passes 4-0. We're down to number 9, resolution number 2017-20. This is a resolution to adopt the 2017 home program policies and procedures for City of Laverne, Tennessee. Need a motion to approve or deny.
Make a motion to approve.
Need a second.
Second.
Alderman Cole.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Brown.
Aye.
I say aye. Resolution 2017-20 passes 4-0. Down to number 10, motion to approve bids. Motion to approve bid for a environmental hazardous material service.
Motion to approve the Premier Protective Services bid.
Need a second. Got a motion on the table to approve Premier, need a second. Got a motion, need a second. Hearing no second, the item fails on lack of second. I'm gonna open it up for another motion. Need a motion?
I make a motion to accept TPM Group.
Got a motion to approve TPM Group. Need a second?
I second.
Got a second? Alderman Brown?
Hold on for some discussion.
Okay.
I'm concerned that we're not going with the low bid on this bid for the service. This actually was bid out twice. And the first time Premier Protective Services was the only qualified bid, and they were the low bid. And then in this instance, they're the low bid as well. So we're, at this point, going with a service that's going to cost the taxpayers more money. That's a concern to me, as well as the fact that this was both times recommended by the local emergency planning committee for Premier Protective Services. So just got some concerns there from a cost standpoint.
Any further comments on this? We got a motion and a second. Alderman Brown?
Aye.
Alderman Jones?
Aye.
Alderman Cole?
No.
I say aye. Motion to approve bid for environmental hazardous material services passes 3-0. 3-1. We're down to number 11. Approve or remove board members, committee members. The Park and Rec Advisory Committee, removing one member. We have no applicants at this time. B, Senior Citizen Advisory Committee, 1 vacant and 2 removed. We have no applicants at this time. And C, the Greenway Advisory Committee, we got 2 vacancies and no applicants at this time. And I'm sure this will be on next month's agenda, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of applicants for it. And we're down to mayor and alderman comments. Alderman Brown.
Just want to thank everybody for thinking of us. Our family's been going through a kind of a rough time lately, but we're on the mend now and everything's looking good. Want to keep the people in Texas in our prayers, continued for months, because it's going to take a long time to rebuild that area. And also keep Florida in our prayers now, and everybody on that Gulf Coast side that's already been hit before by Katrina. Some of them are still rebuilding. Now we got another one coming in that's even bigger. So the entire South needs our prayers and our help, and so just keep that in mind.
Alderman Jones.
No comments. I look forward to seeing everyone out. The old timers did great.
Alderman Cole.
I just want to remind everyone, please keep praying for the people of Texas and Florida as Irma is coming in. And remember, Old Timers Day is Saturday. The parade starts at 10. And there's the carnival, music, lots of events.
Everybody noticed that Vice Mayor Green's not here. One of her good friends passed away, and I'm sure she went to the showing and probably didn't get back in time, but I'm hoping everything, I hope that's the reason. I hope everything's in good standing with her. And our prayers and our heavy hearts go out to the Tenpenny, Smotherman, and Barrow family for their loss. They will be deeply missed. And remember Old Timers Day, Saturday, September the 9th at the City Park. That's at the Veteran Memorial Park. The parade starts at 10 a.m. and the fun lasts till 6 p.m. We got a carnival, a good-sized carnival. It starts Wednesday, tomorrow, September the 6th. Weather is supposed to be nice, and the carnival looks good. I rode up there today, and it looked like it's a big, good carnival. Everyone come out to enjoy the great time and lots of fun. And ever since 1970, the Old Timers Day has been kicked off by the Country Ham Breakfast at the Rescue Squad. And it's Saturday morning, I think, September the 9th. It starts at 6 o'clock, and it'll go up to 10. It'd be at the Laverne Rescue Squad building on Gamble Lane. It's located right behind the Civic Auditorium. And I have nothing else, and I'll call this meeting adjourned.